Welcome to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Joyous conversations about what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about our one reality. You have nothing to fear. You are eternal and you are perfectly loved. Knowing the truth changes everything. Now, here's Roberta.
Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I am delighted that you could be with us today. Our guest is a master at something that I think I've already told you a number of times I have had no patience to learn to do. Michael Goddart is with us today for the fifth time, and he wants to talk again about his actually a number of excellent books. The one that we talked about last time, we'll talk about a little bit this time, but we're going to also rove back over some of the other books he's written. His most recent book is The Contentment Dividend, Meditations for Realizing Your True Self. I'm never going to, I think, realize my true self because I've never been able to learn how to meditate. But Michael began to meditate when he was in his teens, and he tells us that his exceptional ability to meditate really has shaped his life. Michael Goddart is the author of several really deep spiritual books, which have won him multiple awards, in fact. His books in particular include A New Now. This was a good one. Your Guide to Mastering Wisdom Daily, Achieving Equilibrium, and Empowering Your Nobler Self. It's won 9 awards, actually. And also, In Search of Lost Lives, Desire, Sanskaras, and the Evolution of a Mind and Soul. And that was a winner of the American Book Best Book Award, the Living Now Book Award, the Body, Mind, Spirit Book Award, and the National Indie Excellence Award. Great book. And of course, there is his book most recently out called The Contentment of Dividend, Meditations for Realizing Your True Self. Again, I don't think I'm ever going to make it that far. By day, Michael Goddart is an international tax consultant, and by day, I'm a business attorney. So you see, we have a little bit in common. But, doing so much more with your life is always possible. I think I tell that to people all the time. Here for the fifth time is our wonderful Seek Reality guest, our dear and very spiritual friend, Michael Goddart. Michael, welcome. I'm so happy to have you back again.
Oh, Roberta, thank you for that really wonderful introduction. And I'm delighted to be back with you. I so enjoy our conversations. Totally.
No,
and your true self is coming. You are growing into it. The coverings that cover it are falling away as we speak.
Well, I love hearing that. I don't know. I kind of enjoy the coverings, though. What do we do about that? What if we enjoy kind of being this semi-person we already are?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we have these bodies and minds, and the mind just wants to keep going out. And the mind, particularly the lower mind, is shielding us from the soul, which is who we truly are. But, we're living in the material world. This is the heavy plane of materiality.
We're living in the material world, and I'm a material girl. Although I'm not actually very material now that I think about it. Maybe I'm higher than I expected to be.
Well, you probably are, but by material, I mean, we need bodies to interact with the world, and we have our senses. True. We have our, fields of action, that type of thing. So, yeah. So, of course, the soul is what is keeping us alive. When you die, the soul is withdrawn, from your toes up through your third eye, through your eye center, and that's when you vacate the body.
Now let's talk a little bit about you started kind of going off in the meditation direction when you were quite young, and what made you want to go in that direction?
Well, it was there in my consciousness. I remember in my early teens going to the mirror in my bedroom and trying to open my third eye. So the reason my spiritual journey really began at age 10 was that all the groundwork had been laid when in prior lifetimes. So I had been searching quite consciously for several lives before this current one. So I came into this life primed from an early age. So much of who we are is influenced by who we've been in our past lives. And I had the sanskaras, which is Sanskrit for impressions, that I knew about meditation, I knew about the eye center and the third eye. But most important, I had met a realized master 2 lives ago. And that's all covered in beautiful, precise detail in my memoir, In Search of Lost Lives. So once you meet such a high soul, your destiny is set. It changes. I mean, imagine if you had been around Jesus's time, and maybe not a disciple, but you had gone to his meetings, to his talks, to his discourses.
Right.
That would, yeah. I mean, a friend of mine. Actually, I'm just remembering this wonderful friend who's not with us anymore, South African fellow, but he was a Roman soldier, and he was along the route when Jesus was carrying his cross, struggling terribly. And this friend recalled from his meditations and re-experiencing it, he spat on Jesus, if you can imagine that. And Jesus looked at him with such overwhelming love. He was completely dumbstruck.
Yeah.
So that was like 2,000 years ago. And, this lifetime, ardent meditator, he met another true saint and was very close to that saint in India and would visit there from South Africa. So the seeds are being planted. And I think that's what my mission is, because I'm in touch with how frustrating it was seeking, especially my last life, which I call my English seeker life. I had already met a realized saint, which I read about in India when I was a banker stationed in Bombay. And I had this fire that had been lit within me, but I didn't know how to satisfy it. So I hung out at all these bookstores, reading metaphysical books. I was searching. So seek and ye shall find.
Yes. Well, hopefully you will find, right.
Right.
People are very fascinated. Many people are fascinated by past life regression.
Hmm.
I know that I've had 17 lives with my spirit guide of this lifetime.
Hmm.
I've attempted to be regressed to some of those lives, and he won't allow it to happen. Very frustrating. Friend is my spirit guide. But how did you find all of your 88? You say you've had past lives.
Yes. Well, actually, I recovered my total number of human lives, which is 4,137. So,
4,137. You're a slow learner, I guess, my dear.
yeah, it's taken me a while. Well, that's the thing, we just keep coming back. Um, I had been primed, before this life and during this life, but I did a number of activities which really developed my intuition. So it was really a combination of meditation on the sound current and then doing different intuitive exercises. Just from, as a teenager, I did tarot. In my early 20s, I was very much into dowsing. Psychological kinesiology really supercharged my intuition. And a little bit of muscle testing. And then when my intestine died, I literally had to intuit every fork and spoonful of food I ate. So, I mean, I was in dire straits and constant pain. So, I mean, I was having partial and total bowel obstructions left and right. So it was really, and that started in 2012. So really having to know exactly what to eat and when. And my intuition was proven time after time. Like I'd feel there was something else I needed to have, but I couldn't find it. I kept asking about particular foods. And then I would give up, but then I would feel moved to ask again, and it would be hidden behind something. And that was the right thing. So intuition, I also like to define as experience knowing. It's just totally experiential. It's like pure perception.
Wow. So your body was literally telling you what to eat.
Right. Well, my body, my consciousness was manifesting through my body.
My goodness. Wow.
So, and that's a wonderful gift to enjoy, because, one of my top priorities, Roberta, is to always live in the will. And I say will with a capital. So I mean the divine will. Every step I take, I want to be in accord with the highest will of God.
I guess that we all want to do that, but
Well,
we're
that's
sufficiently in touch to be able to do that.
well, we all have that capacity within, Roberta, and that's one of the main themes of the contentment dividend, to really lead people on this inner path. And I can talk about the contentment dividend today, but you really have to read it or listen to it. The audiobook is coming out in a few weeks, I believe, and experience it on your own to live and grow that way. But we all have that capacity within us. And that is because we're human. We have there are five primordial elements that create life. And the five elements are active to various degrees in the whole chain of life. Like plants just have the active element of water. Well, we have all five elements active, including Akash, which is Sanskrit, meaning ether. So we have the sense of right and wrong. I mean, we have a conscience. For a lot of people, it's not very active or they're not in touch with it. Just read the news and, you have excellent illustrations of that. So, yeah, so we all have that innate ability to evolve further. And that's also one of the main points of In Search of Lost Lives. My spiritual evolution began thousands of years ago when I was a woman on my first planet with six children. My husband, my partner, was the equivalent of a lawyer who drew up contracts. And I had this mystical experience, which I can read if we have time. It's only, about 15 lines that really awakened me. It awakened my soul. So the higher power knows we're struggling. And I would say, if you want to inculcate something in your desire body, it's to know God.
I think that's everyone's yearning, really. So have you mostly been on this planet or mostly been on other planets when you've been reincarnated?
Well, this is my third planet, and I've had the smallest number of lives here. My second planet, which I recovered the name in English is Vizine, I had my largest number of lives. My first planet was Jorlu, and most of my incarnations there as a human, I was a woman, which is a great way to start because you develop a lot of the better, at least I did, feminine qualities.
What's an implomity?
Feminine qualities.
Equality. Oh,
Qualities.
I thought you were giving me another Sanskrit word.
Oh, yeah, I've got to watch my Sanskrit, right?
Trying to learn the language fast.
Yeah.
It's not fast enough. I think it's fun. I mean, it's time to learn another language. I've been using this one much too long.
Well, I mean, English is a great language. We have just about more words in our vocabulary than anything. I think Arabic may have more, but Sanskrit is just the ideal spiritual language. It was really kind of downloaded from a higher plane. So, yeah, Sanskrit is great. And it's really the foundation
You
of
were
many
primarily
languages.
female for a long time on that first planet.
Yes, I was.
And then you switched to male on the next one?
Well, I mean, when I say, actually, I have a whole chart, which I don't have handy of. I was able to intuit how many female and male lives I had on each planet, and then I calculated the percentage. As you know, I've been an international tax consultant, so I'm into numbers quite a bit.
The
But
one
the
thing,
major
I'm happy to be male or female. Just don't ever make me a numbers person. That's one
Oh,
thing
really?
I refuse to be.
Okay, okay.
So,
Well,
so that's the worst kind of thing that you ever could be. That's like a third gender of awfulness. I cannot imagine.
well,
Be a numbers person.
numbers all have a certain vibration. And actually, in high
Oh,
school, I studied numerology quite a bit, and I revisit it throughout my life. So numbers aren't just numbers; they're really vibrations of the creation.
which I
That's how I
can
look at
see.
it.
I don't like those.
But anyway, we don't have to pay attention to numbers.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'm so relieved.
Yeah.
I'm, I'm totally out of my field there.
But we can talk about law. I mean, you're a lawyer, and
Yeah,
we can
I
talk
don't like
about
the law nearly as much. That's
yeah,
okay.
we can talk about spiritual laws, which
I'm okay too.
yeah, which a lot of people are not privy to. And of course, the basic law is as you sow, so shall you reap. And that's the law of karma. And that's why we keep coming back. We have this ginormous load of reserve karmas we've
I love the
accumulated.
word ginormous. Thank you for using it.
Oh, good, good.
Too few people appreciate the word ginormous.
Well, it's a ginormous word that really only partly conveys the reality. If I've said this a few times, but I love the title of your show, Seek Reality. So
I
if
didn't choose him.
are you
Thomas, my
interested?
spirit guide, did. I didn't know what to
Oh,
call this podcast. This was 13 years ago, something when it started. What do you call, your podcast? So immediately Thomas broke in and said, "Seek reality." I said, "Huh?"
yeah,
But
well that's perfect.
because
Eh,
that's what we're doing. We've been doing that ever since, trying to understand what reality is. Lovely, lovely, lovely name. I think it's
Oh, absolutely lovely. And the
why I
ultimate
love the word ginormous is
mhm.
that most people would just say big. Now, big is the most boring word in the entire English language, but ginormous conveys what you're trying to say.
Yes,
Isn't it
exactly.
wonderful? What a wonderful
It's
word.
it's much better than just big old enormous. So
Yes, exactly
it's much
right.
more
Yeah.
descriptive. And that's what I do in my writing. I really get as well as I can each optimal word for what the perception is.
Yeah.
Because what I'm in touch with, I mean, if you've read the Contentment Dividend, I mean, if you read the names of the meditations, you're just going to say, what? What is this about? You know, they're a
Uh-huh.
little, they're intriguing, but you're not really sure what you get into. But I take the reader by the hand and we go through it. And everything had to be intuited. And my higher self was not content until I had the optimal word to describe the perception,
Mhm.
because what I was accessing was a perception of higher consciousness,
Mhm.
which is extralingual, which means it's beyond language. So
Right.
I had to render that perception, that higher knowing, into English.
Uh-huh.
I maybe it'd be more exact if it was in Sanskrit. I don't know.
Well,
But
how do you translate a
I
word
have
like ginormous into Sanskrit? I'm just not sure it translates.
probably not. Well, I mean, English is so wonderfully descriptive. Uh, and that's what I love about the writing is articulating the spiritual into English.
Right.
So, yeah, but getting back to seeking reality and know what we were talking about, our having to come back all the time to incarnate. If you go to the top of the mental region, which is also called the causal region, that's like the second grand division above the material.
Uh-huh.
That's where the storehouse of your karmas are, and you can like view it.
Yeah, I think that. nearly everyone is on each, probably on each different planet, it's different, but for the Earth, certainly, anyway, everyone is one gender primarily,
Hmm.
and it can be awkward to be in the other gender.
Well, it depends on the person. I mean, as you know, in Search of Lost Lives, I recovered quite a few friends who I knew in past lives, and some of them go back and forth, rather readily. I had a decided preference on Earth to be a man, which was good because we know how women have been treated through time.
I've had a decided preference to be a man as well, on Earth,
Hmm.
and I'm a woman. I have not ever found another instance on Earth when I have been female except this one. And
Right, right. Well, I completely, and maybe that's one reason you're so good in your profession.
I,
But
I don't
I,
know. But I can tell you, if I'm opposed to transitioning children
mhm.
because if someone had told me when I was 12 or 14 that I could be a man, I'd have been there. I mean, I always wanted to be a man until I
Hmm.
hit puberty. Once I went through puberty, I accepted being a woman, and I've been happy to be a woman ever since. But
Yes. Well, I think people need to be given time to work out their identity.
yes,
And in the late teens and the early 20s in particular, it's really about finding yourself. It's transitioning, to use that word, into adulthood.
yes, yeah,
So,
that's right.
yeah.
But until you hit your and we usually plan to be the gender we are in this lifetime for a reason. I planned to be female for some very specific reasons that I would not have been able to accomplish if I had not
Right,
been
right.
allowed to go
But
through
also,
to discover those reasons.
but there is complete diversity in life, and I think we need to accept it. And someone may have taken the challenge to transgender, but I mean, everybody has their own unique path. I recovered. I really didn't want to get into a life, but I had a life on my second planet when I was intersex. I had.
What is intersex?
Well, I mean, it's different for different people. But it's sort of like I was kind of indeterminate. I had some male and female parts.
Well, I've heard of
And
that. Oh, that's what it means. Okay.
yeah, and I don't want to be specific on the program in terms of what
That's
I
right.
had and what I
That's right.
left.
We don't want to get R-rated by anybody.
No, no, but what I would say, I suffered enormously. People were, a number of people were quite mean in that life. It was a very, very tough life. Now, I didn't need to recover that life for the book, and it's such a heavy life. I don't want to recover what lessons I learned.
Yeah,
But I guess I'm only bringing it up is that the main thing is we can't judge what another person's path is and what they're supposed to learn.
right.
It,
No. But
it,
what I try to teach people is that, I mean, people tend to think they're sort of dumped haphazardly into their lifetimes here, but the opposite is true. We plan each lifetime very carefully, and all the details of our lives we plan carefully.
Right. And one thing I read about is that in many of the lives, it was my spiritual purpose
Yeah.
of the lives. And we're often here to fulfill our spiritual purpose. Now, I believe it was 10 lives ago, I was a Polish translator. I was very, very poor, but I made my small income translating Yiddish into Polish, Polish into Yiddish, French into Yiddish. Um, And I couldn't find a mate. I mean, I went to a matchmaker. I recently, a number of months ago, I saw Fiddler in the Roof, and it really brought back,
I
I
love
went
that.
to,
I love that. I love
yeah, and it really kind of brought back that life because I lived in a shuttle and I went to this matchmaker and she ultimately gave up on me. She couldn't find me a wife.
Oh,
I
how sad.
I lived in a really big family. Luckily, I had one, oh, the village elders. hated me, except for one who let me use his library. And actually, this is a friend of mine this lifetime, and she's a woman, you know. And I could talk for an hour about our relationship and what came through. But what I'm saying is, what I'm finally getting to, it was a very lonely life. Um, we were so poor, you know, the roof finally caved in on the house. There were only three of us kids left. If it weren't for an uncle, the house would have remained in disrepair. Finally, right around when I was 40, I committed suicide.
Oh,
I I walked out in the snow and froze to death. And the point of sharing that sadness with you is that I lost the opportunity to fulfill the spiritual purpose of that life. So suicide is really what, you know, a lot of people would call a great sin. Now, sin has a lot of emotional baggage attached to it because of the
yeah,
church, but it's really kind of moving away from the supreme love, from the supreme being. So I was given this indescribably valuable gift of a human life, and I gave it back. So, yeah, that was really unfortunate. Set me back. But that was like when the lower mind triumphed over the higher mind.
yeah.
If my higher mind had been more active, um, I would have sought counsel. I would have found a solution. And that's another point I'd like to make in my writing is there's a solution to every so-called problem.
Yeah, but it's
And
never the right answer. It's the quick answer, but it's
mhm.
never the right answer.
Well, you have to be careful, like in terms of your thinking and what you're moved to do, to distinguish between the higher mind and the lower mind. My higher mind did not become predominant until 12 lives ago when I was in Tibet. And I was like,
You've lived 4,000 lives and you're higher minded now.
yes,
Oh my goodness.
maybe I'm
You are
I'm I'm just a
you're a
drudge.
slow learner, my dear
I'm
friend.
a slow learner, but I was very good in school this lifetime, I have to admit. So finally, I caught up with myself.
I
Okay.
love you anyway, but you're kind of a slow learner.
Yes, yes. But I don't think that's so unusual, Roberta, because if you look at the way people behave, it doesn't take anything to set them off and voice a mean remark.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a very so-called spiritually mature person a while back explode at me at anger. It was really ridiculous.
They're not
And
spiritually advanced if they can feel anger. That anger goes away fairly well once you develop spiritual growth in yourself.
right,
It's a very low vibration
very
emotion.
low, very awful. And that's the cause of a lot of death and killing, you know. Um,
Yeah, yes, the world as it is at a very low vibration now, but it's possible
it
to
is
grow.
very much.
For yourself, it's possible to grow well beyond that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the other side of the story is there's so many people who are growing in consciousness and
Yes,
love.
yes, because we're learning finally what exactly is going on with the planet.
Right,
We can
right.
grow beyond all of that fairly well. That's
Hmm.
that's what we're teaching now. I mean, it's quite remarkable how well people can grow beyond it individually, but as a planet, I would give you two shakes
Yeah, I wouldn't choose
right
to come
now.
back here, quite honestly, if I had my druthers. But, you know, the point is, I don't want to come back.
No,
But, you know, in the books, I write about meditation and the sound current, which is the word of the Bible, the
yes,
primordial sound, which is the instrument of creation. And by meditating on that, all the virtues rise like cream on milk. So, you know, anger, ego, greed,
yes, all of those,
lust,
yes, all those
attachment,
very
all
much.
those are neutralized through meditation on the word.
They can be, yes, yeah,
They can be. It's very difficult. You can't really master the mind, but with the mind, because you're using the mind, you're going to go in circles. Um, Always endeavoring to be a good human being, that can empower your higher mind.
yes.
and bring contentment. But acting out in the lower passions, and in my book, Spiritual Revolution, I write about the 52 principles of spirituality. And when I write about anger, I can't remember the number, but I list like 52 other names for anger. So,
Oh,
if you're somebody who says, well, I never get angry, which is ego,
I just become
but
piqued
yes, perfect, perfect. Maybe I'm a little peaked,
or
but
irritated.
yeah, but there are all these other words for anger that are an expression. They're a different expression of anger.
Right, right. But they're angry
So
all the same.
yes, yes.
Yeah, no, it's quite possible to raise your vibration so high you will never feel those emotions again.
Hmm.
People don't understand that, but it truly is.
Yes, and that leads to more obviously contentment and happiness.
You get to the point where you can't stop laughing.
Hmm. Right. Well, laughter is the best medicine and it's the best tool against the negative power.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if listeners or you believe in universal mind, but the mind is an agent of universal mind. And the
yeah.
mind, which we need to function here, is not in its true home, which is universal mind. When we came down through the purely spiritual realms, when we entered the mental plane, we became associated with the mind. We became attached to the mind. And then, of course, occupying the body, you have the senses. So it's the senses really pulling the mind that's made the soul um, put it in jail, so to speak. It's imprisoned the soul. So we're actually this trinity of three very different entities or things.
Well, ultimately, we all want to become spirit, and we all want
Yes.
to become a purified, risen spirit that joyously reunites.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people could experience for a moment the ultra beauty of the higher regions, which get more and more splendid and, awe-inspiring as you rise up and you shed all the mental baggage you have. They would be meditating all the time. I mean, a lot of people I know who meditate, it's like their spirituality is being held in a treasure chest. Because if it was given to them, if it was earned, if they could hear the word, the voice of God, which the Greeks called the music of the spheres now, they wouldn't be able to go through their destiny. They would just want to sit still in the stillness and listen to that inner sound, which is a rapturous melody, believe me. So we're here to complete our destiny, which is what in Sanskrit is our pralab karma. It's the karma allotted for this lifetime. But along that, we have the opportunity to grow in spirit and to seek it, to become it, and ultimately to be it.
Thing is, there are actually there actually seem to be a number of ways to achieve spiritual growth. One of them seems to be indeed to um, become more um, simply to grow spiritually in quite a mechanical way, which I have discovered and which I teach. And
Oh,
another is to meditate, which is what you teach, and they both seem to work. It surprises me because Thomas taught me the method that I use, and it surprises me that it works really well.
oh, good.
But I just didn't have never I've never had the patience to learn to meditate. I can't sit still long enough. I can't. My mind is always going. And so I sort of gave up on it a long time ago. But I think that, I mean, I know that it works very well because I've known some very seasoned meditators and they use it to quiet their minds
Hmm.
and they rave to me about how well it works, and I think it's wonderful that it works for them so well.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, we're all on a spiritual path, and you need to know what is your agenda for this lifetime. It may not include meditation.
Yes,
That's
barely
perfectly
it
fine
doesn't.
because you're attending to other areas of growth. So yeah, so I mean that's why never judge, never try to persuade anybody to do anything. It's all about being in touch with your intuition to know what your next step is.
Yeah, it does surprise me that there, as long as one understands what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
and sort of how and why it works, it does seem to work.
Mm-hmm.
It really surprises me. I mean, my Thomas has now told me that I have raised my spiritual vibration high enough that this is my last necessary lifetime. And I said, Yay, I don't have to come back. He said, No, you will be coming back because you need to come back to teach. I
Oh,
said, Phooey,
wonderful.
I knew you're going to have to catch me first because I'm coming back. He said, No, you will come back to teach.
Mm,
So obviously, you know, I don't get to make my own decisions either, but that's all right.
right.
You by meditation, you discovered all of your past lives.
Well, that
People are
was
going to be
what.
interested in hearing about that because I get a lot of questions about past lives. How did you discover all your past lives?
Well, meditation was like a very important element because of what I'd been meditating on. But as I said, I'd been developing my intuition. And also, I worked with a spiritual teacher between lives. And that was mainly to have the ability to traverse time. And because if you go through the table of contents, and it's actually listed on my website, Goddart.com, I have the
Yes,
list of all my
everyone,
lives.
he has a very interesting website, and that will be in the notes to these to this program. So when you at the bottom of the notes, just go to his website because it is fascinating.
And go to explore and share. And near the top is a PDF you can download or just open, which is a list of my lives. But it also shows all the distinct features of the lives. All the little sections are numbered, so you really get a sense of the spiritual evolution. But one of the things I did with the spiritual teacher between lives was that I gain the ability to traverse time. So all the lives on Earth have the year I was born and died. So it goes back to Atlantean times. It goes back 133,000 years. When I was a slave, I write about four lives as a slave, all very different lives.
And slavery is a very ancient system in many, many, many cultures. So we've all lived lives
Hmm.
bonded in one way or another. That just was standard and natural in ancient history in the world
I'm
and
sorry.
in other planets as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're talking about slavery?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I had like when I was a Greek philosopher, which is one of the three lives that resonate with me the most. We we were an extremely wealthy family. That was probably my richest life, a few hundred years in the Common Era, and we had a number of slaves, but they were more like servants. They weren't maltreated, um, and I had very close associations with them because as a young boy, my parents died uh, of a very virulent flu. So we've had a great variety of lives, and it's part of God's game or plan to experience the creation through us, and mainly us loving God back. So a lot of people want to know why the creation. It's it's something you really can't appreciate until you become God again. So. I mean, the joke's sort of on us, but all the suffering we go through, I mean, when it's over, it's over.
And you don't really remember it. One of the
Right.
things
Hmm.
that it's impossible for people to remember when it's over is pain
Hmm.
enough. And we just don't these things that we experience on earth really don't matter to us when they're over. They just we learn, we grow from these experiences, but that's all. They're useful to us as instruments of our growth, but that's all.
It's really, yeah, and I think that's one thing that drives people to spirituality because they've seen suffering, they've experienced it. I mean, the fact is we're separated now. And the soul, if you have feelings of loneliness or
Mhm.
longing and you're not sure what they relate to, and you've had a good day, everything seemingly is going fine, that's really the voice of the soul yearning to go back to source, to God.
Yeah,
So we suffer even when we're happy because we're separated. And we each have our own timeline. As you said, I was kind of a slowpoke getting here
I'm
for
just
all those
teasing
lives.
you.
I know you're teasing, but it's fun. But look at all the fascinating lives I was able to have. And, it's kind of unique that I was able to recover them. And, one reason I was, everything, the creation is sort of formed to fulfill desires, and that's what keeps us coming back. But I early on had a desire to know what a lot of my key lives were, because I knew once I left the physical and I would merely be ascending within, I would have absolutely no interest in that. I'd
Well,
be in awe.
that's very important to understand too. We think this particular lifetime is so very precious. I mean, I love my life. I love my life. I love all the people in it. I love the things I'm doing. Every day is just such a joy to me. I really don't feel negative about anything about
Mhm.
it. But on the other hand, I'm very aware that once I'm no longer in this lifetime, it's not going to matter to me at all. And I guess I don't even like that fact, but that's a fact.
Yeah, it's like a course you have completed
Yeah.
successfully, and you're
I
on.
don't even care what my grade is. I mean, that's how little it will matter.
Oh, well, I'd give you an A for sure, but
Aren't you sweet?
yeah. But you're being prepared to be a teacher. I mean, you are a teacher now, but you're going to be, you'll come back more emblazoned with light to teach,
Yeah.
which is lovely.
We will, well, you too. You're doing the very best you can with your life. I mean,
Hmm. Thank you.
we try our best, and but if we're not getting joy out of it, there's no point to it at all. It seems to me joy should be the point.
It should be, and a lot of people have to go through what could be called bad karmas. So also the key is how to rise above them. And
Yeah.
that's what I hope people will also benefit from reading the commitment dividend, and particularly anew now, which shows you how to lead the best life possible. Because we don't have to have these negative tapes running in our mind all the time. We can rise above that and have that joy we all hanker for.
Even if you are living in a way to work through negative karma, even that you can find a way to do with joy. Joy should be central to your life. I think that is something we owe to ourselves and to God, is to find
Yes.
the joy in this life, in every
And
life.
yes, and joy is also a way of, or an expression of feeling the presence of God.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Joy is God in your life. You want
If
God to smile. You want God to say, I love this life that I'm living in you. You want God to feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, if before any action or speech you ask, would this please God? That really could be a revolution in uplifting your behavior
Yes.
and your joy. I mean, that could bring joy just to have that awareness. If I were to say this thing or eat this, would this please God? So,
And may someone listening to me now hear in something I am saying, something that touches his or her heart in a special way and helps them hear God and what I've said. That's how each of us, please God, will live our lives.
Hmm.
That's that's how we can raise our spirituality too in such a way that we will be able to hopefully make this our last necessary earth lifetime. You still get to come back. If you want to come back, you can come back. After you have achieved the top of level 5, you can come back.
Hmm.
But it's nice if it, oh, I shouldn't keep teasing you. I was going to say it's nice if it doesn't take 4,000
No,
to get here. I'm not going to say that.
no, but if we, it depends, how we started our human lives. A lot of people are violent animalistic because they've been man-eating cats, for recently, that type of thing. I mean, a lot of, I mean, I've been every life form, lizards, you name it, beaver. I mean, there's some I have a special attraction to that I feel close to, like horses and dolphins.
I know. I feel I have actually experienced a lifetime as a horse and
Hmm.
loved that. But I have not tried to find all my lifetimes. I just know what some of them have been. And we have so gone over our time, my dear. I so enjoy talking to you.
Me too.
What do you want people to take away from our time together this time?
Well, they have the power within them to lead the best life possible and to live in the presence and to embrace the fact that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And this is your golden opportunity to make the best of it.
Today is your best day. Today is the day you get to live a beautiful life.
Hmm.
Yes. Oh, thank you for that was lovely.
Yeah, I so loved our time together.
We do have fun, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Stay right there. I'm just
Okay.
going to tell people who'll be with us next week. This is going to be interesting too. I think you'll find this interesting. Once again, though, my dear friends, we've come to the end of our time together for this week. This has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. I am so happy you were with us today. Please never forget, you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began, you never will end. And when you get that, when you really know that's true, it changes everything in your life for the better. Next week, our guest will be Jonathan Beecher, and I didn't go back to see. He's been here a few times before. He's the head of White Crow Books, which is based in the UK. It's the leading publisher of really good quality books on death and the afterlife, but he's departing a little bit this time. He's bringing us an amazing book. He is the named author, but it's channeled messages received primarily by automatic writing about 125 years ago. Messages received by automatic writing primarily from Jesus. And I've started to look at the book, and I think it's the real thing. It's called No One's Dead, the Jesus Messages. I'm so eager to get my hands on this book on the plane. I'm about to take a flight, and I can't wait to read this book. It does sound like Jesus, and he's pretty bent out of shape, believe me. Even 100 years ago, he was a little bit bent out of shape. He has a lot to say. Please be sure to join us next week. This is going to be something. And this week, we've been talking again with our wonderful friend, Michael Goddart. He is, as you can see, wonderful, truly wonderful. He's written some terrific books. He's been with us for the 5th time. He's a thoughtful mystic and writer who's a great person who's able to meditate. I can't meditate. He can. And he can teach people to meditate beautifully. He's written some books that have won some wonderful. I'm sort of jealous of this, actually. I've never submitted my books for any kinds of awards. He's gone through that process, and it's really been very worthwhile for him. I don't have the time to do anything, or we are going to be much over our hour. We've talked mainly about his book called In Search of Lost Lives, and 4,000 lives. He has discovered all 4,000 of his lives and done a lot of other things too. But all of his books, all of the information about him will be in the blurb below this interview. And I urge you to go to Goddart.com, learn all about him. He is just a wonderful human being and a lot of fun, and he'll be back with us again before long. We should also mention here that our dear friend Craig Hogan is president and guru of Seek Reality Online. You're going to live forever. You may as well learn a lot more about it. Based on the evidence we have, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to get to hug together. So when we all get there. So I can't wait to hug every one of you. Go find me when you get there. I'll get there ahead of you. And that's all we have time for now. So please remember, this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes, and make the most of this coming week in our one reality, always knowing that you are a powerful, eternal being, and you, most of all in this entire universe, you especially are infinitely, eternally, perfectly, and forever loved.
You've been listening to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Roberta blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Join us every week as we explore what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about the one reality we all share. Knowing the truth changes everything.